As you know, the divestment movement is picking up steam on social media, most notably YouTube and now TikTok. And I've done a few videos exposing this situation. Now, let me just say this. Interracial dating topics are always quite popular and controversial on YouTube. And we know that a lot of, black men have been talking about it. You have the guys at the SYSBM. There's brothers like Austin Holloman, who's advocating black men go overseas. You have guys like Black Men's Travels and Aaron Ferris, Dennis John Pierre, a whole myriad of guys who've been talking about these things for years. But now what you're seeing is black women starting to have the conversations about them going to another community. Yeah, like if black men don't get it together, we're going to go to white men. But I want to talk about this particular guy because he's heard those topics too. He's a brother on TikTok, and I want to hear what he has to tell sisters who are thinking about going to the next person, what they need to do.
Baby, I can go date an Indian, a Hispanic, a white man. Y'all not the only options out here.
For black women that want to divest and do that, more power to you, sister. This is something I think black women don't understand when they say things like this. Black men aren't mad when you say these things. We're like, okay, well, better luck somewhere else. As do I hear when I hear black men say this, I'm like, bro, better luck somewhere else. You see me, I preach that black women love weak men, right? You heard what she said. Black men think they're the pedestal. Black men think they're this. Bring it down. You know what bring it down means, right? Get back weak. Stop being strong. Be unsexually disciplined. Fight over viscosity. That's exactly what she was saying. Praise me. Worship worship how I walk. Worship the ground I walk on. Worship my toilet water, my bathroom water. Instead of just saying, I'd rather go date other races, she had to throw us down in the mist. But it's cool. It's cool. I wish you, personally, nothing but the best. Love.
So guys, that was his response. But I want you to hear what a black woman has to say about black women who threaten to divest. Let's play that clip.
Baby, I can go date an Indian, a Hispanic, a white man. Y'all not the only options out here.
Okay, I want to know what her point was, because I'm not getting it. You're basically saying that you can go date another race. That's wonderful. But so can black men. What's your point? Black men been doing it. They've been dating outside of their race, dating white girls, dating Hispanic. They've been doing it. So what are you trying to say? And then you're saying that black men put themselves on a pedestal. I think if anybody puts themselves on a pedestal, it's black women. And I'm just being honest. We're the prize. Guys should do this for us. Men should do this for us. Da-da-da. White women can't do this. White women can't wear their hair like this is ours. This is ours. This is it. Like, we put ourselves on the pedestal. So like I said, what's your point? What are you really trying to get at? Because I don't understand it.
And there's the crux of the argument there. She goes on to say that black women are putting themselves on a pedestal. And whenever you hear, black women talk about black men and the women that they're dating, it's always, well, white women are copying us, or, they don't have what we have. They can't do this or that. But it's never a conversation about what you offer the men in your community. And I want to talk about this on a more of a larger scale, because I think it tends to be a black problem, not just in the African-American world. But, I think that a lot of people feel, and this can be more targeted towards the women, that you're going to get something for nothing. And that's kind of where that pedestal thing is. Something for nothing. In other words, nobody really sits back and wonders, like, well, why are these black men going over to somebody else? Why are they going to Brazil, or why are they going to Colombia, or why are they going, all these other places? You just really don't hear it that much, right? And so because you don't hear it, they never sit back and try to wonder. And again, all you're supposed to be able to do is accept whatever this treatment is. And, if you go and choose somebody else and not black women, then in return, they're going to go out there and deal with non-black men. Okay. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do, they're going to go ahead and do it too. So then here's the fundamental question I want to ask. Well, then what are the other guys from the other communities going to be receiving from you? Because see, that's what we need to talk about. A lot of ladies who come from our community, they haven't seen a father, right? Let's just be honest. If you haven't seen a father and you haven't seen what men typically do in relationships, well, no race of man, that's not going to prepare you for anything, right? Because if you go to the white guy who has, let's say, both of his parents and he's getting with you and you've never seen both parents, you're still going to have a hard time adjusting to that style of relationship simply because you have never seen it, especially if you grew up with, nothing but a mother in your house or something like that. That's the situation there. Okay. Now, what I want to talk about is that what are these ladies going to be offering these white men that they are not offering black men? Now, we already know, apparently, according to some of these black women out here, that white men would be a better option for them, right? Because the white men can make more, they're going to be more faithful and things like that. Got it. My question would be, what are the white men going to be gaining from the women who are going to be divesting? Because if you can look at the lady's attitude that was talking about how they can go and get a white man and get a Hispanic man, that kind of attitude that she had is not going to work over in the other dating communities. You got to understand the other guys already have women that are competitive. I'm not saying that black women cannot be competitive, because certainly they can. But what I'm saying is the other women have what I would consider a competitive advantage. Let's talk about racism. And I know we don't want to talk about that, but let's talk about it, right? If you're somebody and you're Indian, you marry a black woman. She might be a great black woman, but what price do you pay in your community for bringing home a black woman if you're an Indian man? I would say you might pay a severe price, because a lot of other groups don't want you dating somebody that is a foreigner. It's not necessarily just being, okay, we just don't like blacks, but why not our people, right? Same thing with the white community. What are the incentives for him to do it? Because yeah, they might be a little bit more liberal, but then they cannot also be that liberal, right? You're bringing home a black woman. What's wrong with our white women? Let's look at the Hispanic community. You're bringing home a black woman from a different culture. What about the women in our community? And that's going to be the message, especially if you're a successful man. You don't like our women, but you like her. What are you trying to say? And a lot of men are beholden to that culture, even if they would date a black woman or marry one. The fact is that there's too much to lose culturally. You're the Indian guy. Do you want to be kicked out of your community or being disparaged because you have a black wife, or you're a Chinese man and you have a black wife? Would that stop maybe some business opportunities? It could. I've heard of cases of that, experiencing racism, people looking at you funny. So again, it would have to be a really magnificent woman to make a man say, you know what, I'm going to choose this lady instead of the women in my community, because the women in my community are not better than this lady. And that's where you see women in the black community marrying less in interracial relationships, because a lot of times people in their own community where they're familiar with and they know what they're going to get, they know what the standards are in that community, they've been raised under that community, whereas a woman might not be able to get with that. Like, remember Janet Jackson married this particular guy who was a Qatari billionaire, and she tried to become Muslim, but she just really couldn't get down with that community because she wasn't raised in that community. She don't have the same values. And a lot of times people might not have the same cultural values. So when black women are saying that we can go out here and we can go and date other men, well, maybe you're going to have to do a lot of changings to adjust. And that might be the reason why you don't see so much interracial marriages. Whereas when a man is marrying a woman, a black man marrying a woman, it's easier for her to adjust to his more liberal cultural values. Like as an American, if you marry a woman from the Dominican Republic or a woman from, let's say, a real conservative community, well, black men are typically more liberal. We're Americans, right? So it's easier for her to adjust to something a little bit more liberal. It's harder for the liberalized American woman to adjust to something a little bit more conservative. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again for another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell, check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains an all-time high. I'm out.